everybody, and welcome to Coffee Chat with Jeannie and Cindy.
Good morning, Cindy.
Good
I
morning.
still look forward to these mornings where we have coffee and we chat with each other.
Absolutely. We've been doing this a long time, 5 years.
We haven't been recording 5 years.
We haven't been recording, but
almost 6 years. Can you believe that?
oh, that's right.
Yeah. 6 years. Yeah.
Right. So exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, you're such a knowledgeable, beautiful, wonderful person with these great perspectives, but your humor, I mean, I don't know that I've ever had a conversation with you, hardly ever, that I don't end up laughing at something that you say.
Well, that's why I love to talk to you is because you think I'm funny. And I like that.
Oh my goodness. So today we have decided to talk about being a mother. And the title of our chat today is From Mommy to Mom. You were telling me about Michael.
Well, and this is before we alienate, half of our organization here, because there are some people who chose not to have children or whatever. Right. So this is not just about being a physical mom and birthing children and raising children, Cindy. This is also about our nurturing thing, but sometimes how it can become obnoxious with our friends and our family and our coworkers. So there's a bigger conversation here.
Absolutely. Well, let's just talk about mothering.
Period.
Right. And what?
But let me tell you my story about Michael. And I had told him years ago. And, because I know you find this hard to believe, but I'm pretty opinionated. I know. Who would have thunk it? But, it was, I don't know, at some point after he was a teenager and all of that. And I remember telling him, because I was, I'm very good too about pushing him out of the nest, but he always, it's like what I like to say, Cindy, is that with our children, that it's like they're walking the tightrope, but we are the net that they fall into. Yes. Let them walk the tightrope, but, which gives them confidence and poise and strength and grace and all of that. But they know that we're there. There's nothing that they could do that we would disown them for ever. And so, but I remember telling him one time, I said, Michael, I will always be your mom, but I am no longer your mommy. I absolutely believe that you have everything it takes to, run your life and make good decisions. If you want my advice, I'm willing to give my advice, but I'm not going to run after you going, well, why did you do this? And why didn't you do that? And have you thought about this? Because, the underlying message, Cindy, is you're too stupid to figure it out. And it's kind of like my opinion or my feelings about like generational welfare, and people might say, well, people need it. Well, I think it's a hand up, not a handout. But the underlying message in welfare, generational welfare, is let me do it for you. You're not capable, which is very unloving, very unloving. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, when you came up with this idea, I think you had a conversation with your son too the other day.
Right. Well, I was encouraging him. I was playing with him this morning. And as you know, we're working with a new product with the glutathione. And I was telling him about the benefits of that. And so one of the benefits is that it grows your hair back, and he's getting a little shiny spot. Mm-hmm. But so what you do with this is you swish, you splash, or splash on this glutathione.
Right. Spray.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And you can go to our website and learn all about that, by the way, at the Beautiful Network of Women. But Anyway, I was telling him to use it. So this morning, he's had it for one day, and I said, "Did you brush your teeth today? Did you swish? Did you splash?" And he said, "Mother, I'm 35 years old. You don't have to tell me to brush my teeth and splish and splash."
Oops.
I said, "Jordan, I just can't help being your mother. I just can't help it. Just humor me. Just bear with me on
I'll get over it. Well, but we tend to do this too with members of our family.
Sure.
We tend to do this with, people that we work with
Right.
or friends sometimes. And some people are a lot more compliant and they like to play the little, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, this little victim card, which, for those of us who have all the answers, that's very tempting.
Well, I've used that before, especially being a female in a male-dominated business.
Music industry.
The music industry. Really? Oh, you're my hero. I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah, it's sickening. But you got to, if you're going to play the game or get in the thing, you've got to work it. And that's one thing that we've all learned as women. It's changing slowly, but I think it's gotten a little too radical, because just be a woman, just be the nurturing, beautiful, giving, generous, loving woman. And that's mother energy, right? And so many in our world today, it's, discounting women, and we got this woke stuff, and are you a man or we got so much stuff going on right now that is a little confusing. But
see, here's the thing. I think they should just take the warning labels off of everything and let nature just sort it out.
Exactly.
Oops.
Yeah. It's like almost, there's people that are like, I heard the other day someone was like apologizing because they liked their gender, like, come on.
Hello.
I chose to be a woman. I love being a woman. I love being a mother. And now I love being a grandmother.
I saw, and I don't know if this was photoshopped or what, but somebody had a picture of a car battery and there was a tag on it that says, "Do not drink battery acid." It's like, no, go ahead. Really, just do. I'll pay $1 to see that. You are too stupid to drive, for real. What the hell? Yeah. But this is funny because we have been so protective, it's like, oh, we got to live in a bubble and all of that. You and I grew up like with these hot as fire slides, metal slides in the park that would take the skin off of you, and merry-go-rounds that just flip you right out of there, and swings that would, what? I mean, we're still alive. We drank water from a hose. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
drank water from a hose.
Oh, hell yeah. That was our sports drink. Yeah. We rode in the back of a pickup truck.
Right. Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Yeah. Back of a pickup truck, water from a hose, walked home from school by ourselves.
Oh, yeah, all the time. I remember one of my favorite books that actually got me into the clutter clearing is a book by Karen Kingston called Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui. And she's this lovely woman from the UK. And along the way of clearing, she used to do like breath work and stuff. And then she got into realizing that going into people's homes was just claustrophobic because they were just living in squalor. And she was like, we can't clean up your life with breath work while you're living with all this stuff, on the floor and stuff. Anyhow, so she got into clutter clearing. But she made up her mind along the way. And there are several stories here. One is that she decided that she would live in Bali. She'd never been to Bali, but that she would go to Bali and she loved it. And so she arranged her life, Cindy, so that she could go to Bali 6 months out of the year.
Oh, wow.
She did.
Hmm.
And she went through, and this is a whole different discussion, but she went through a phase where everything that she had was purple, purple sheets, purple, clothes,
Yeah.
purple towels, purple everything. And, her observation on that was that she was bringing in that energy of that purple, which is what she needed. And so when people would come to Bali and they would ask for, where did Karen Kingston live? And they go down that road and turn around here. And when you see the purple hanging out on the clothesline, that's her. But she was also talking about how we clutter up our lives. And she said, we have to have all these chef's knives and this knife for fish and this knife for that and this knife for that. And she said, there are 6-year-old boys or girls in Bali who have like a machete, and they are very proficient, and they can open a coconut and they can scale a fish, and they have one knife, one machete. We go, oh my God, I would never give a 6-year-old, a knife. It's like, so there is this distinct pattern of teaching others to be proficient and confident and, living their life instead of just wrapping them in bubble wrap.
Oh, man. And what comes to mind with what you just said is the word enabling. And I have a relative on my husband's side, and he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, very, very wealthy daddy. And he never worked. He got a degree. He went to college and got some kind of degree, but he's never had a real job. Mm-hmm. Well, Dad died and the company went bankrupt, and now he's completely lost. Just completely lost. He's living with his mother.
No skills, no confidence. Yeah. And so that's the whole enabling thing. That's that whole, let me do it for you. You're not capable. Now, let's go back. I know I talk a lot about, my son and things that I see. But a couple of years ago, there was this, in my opinion, misguided. This was around the whole time of like Gillette and toxic masculinity and all that bullshit, which is a spiritual term in Texas. Just so you know, bullshit is, and it does it. But there was an insurance company that chose these two, probably high school boys out. And it's raining and they're in a car and they have a flat tire, and one of the kids calls their dad, and the dad said, well, where are you? And they were like, 25 miles away and it's raining. And he said, well, did you call such and such insurance company, to come change your tire? No. Okay, well, call them. Da, da, da. It was like, Michael and I just had this conversation about that. And we said, whatever happened to the dad teaching the kid how to change a frickin' tire? I know how to.
That exactly. We might have lost it at our generation, because this new generation, how many people do we know where their children have come home? Well, part of that's because you can't afford the real estate, anymore.
But people are getting stupid degrees that go nowhere, and then they're wondering why am I not making da da da? Exactly. Well, and here's another conversation around that. It's like, don't go for the easy stuff. Go for what really interests you, and don't do it for the dollars either.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you love it.
Yeah.
And so
Dennis's dad used to say that. He used to say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Well, okay. That brings me to another story, because that's another thing. Last week we talked about don't shoot the messenger and stuff.
Right.
At my winery, I was it. I had sous chefs and, people helping me prepare, and dishwashers and servers and all that. But I was the chef. And if I wasn't there, it would have been closed down. So one night, we had a whole tasting room full of people. We had, dozens more on the patio, and our girls were just running back and forth, and I was crazed. And this one server kept coming, and she'd go, "There's a lady out on the patio that wants to talk to you." And I was like, "I can't talk to her right now. Is everything okay?" "Yeah, she just wants to talk to you." And I said, "Well, I can't talk to her right now." Well, 5-10 minutes goes by. "She really wants to talk to you." This happened like 3 times. And finally I'm like, "What the hell?" So I go out there, and I'm like, trying to be nice. And so, she's been drinking. So she's like one chatty Cathy, and she's like, "So," she said, "this is a really nice place. And how did you decide to get it?" I was like, "Lady, I really don't have time to discuss why I decided to do that." But I didn't say that. And I said, "Well, we ended up here. My husband always wanted a winery. And, so now we have one." And she was like, da, da, da. And I went, and anyhow, it kind of devolved and I said, "But it is a lot of hard work." And this is when I know that my guardian angel was standing beside me, because I did not have a knife in my hand. I could have, a chef's knife. Because she looked up at me and she said, "But you love it, don't you?" And what am I going to say? Not at this moment, but I didn't say it. And I think, "Well, yeah, I love it." And she goes, "Well, if you love it, you've never worked a day in your life." I'm gonna go and get my knife. Seriously. Are you kidding me? I mean, seriously. So, I mean, I know what Dennis's dad was saying, but no, that's the time I wanted to kill the messenger.
There you go. There you go. Well, I do love singing. And I do love, what I do. I do love that. And I have a lot of fun with what I do, but I work really, really hard too. And I've had a lot of disappointments. I've practiced hours and hours and hours to get where I've gotten, in what I do.
And you make it look effortless.
That's something to remember. When people are good at what they do, they make it look easy.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is hours and hours and hours. I mean, I worked in major market broadcast, in Dallas, which was a big deal, and I worked also writing commercials, voicing commercials, and working with customers and all of that. And, you learn on the way if you have a brain, but I learned that I loved it. I learned to do this type of thing and run the Bnow radio show and stuff like that. Right. But just like you, it looks effortless. It looks like we just sit down and chat. No. We have a wealth of information here. But I remember when you were in San Angelo, you'd be going, "Well, okay, tonight I'm going over to this place or this restaurant or this venue, and I'm going to sit down at the piano and I'm going to play and I'm going to take requests." And and I'm like, "Oh my God, how do you take requests?" But you knew this music. No, I'm serious. How do you do that, Cindy?
So many people ask me that. I don't know. I just love music. So my son's making me a promo video right now with my music, because I have someone who's interested in hiring me here in Florida, and they want to see a video of me. So he's got enough to put it all together. And I said, he says, "How many songs do you know, Mom?" I said, "Honey, just tell them hundreds, because I don't know how many songs I know." But people are always coming up to me, "How do you remember all those songs?" And I learned how to memorize. And there's kind of an art to memorizing, if I can. So the way that I would answer your question is, when I memorize, all I need is the first 2 words of a line, and I remember the rest of the line. So if I were to say, "I can see clearly now," what would you say?
The day
is gone. Right.
Rain is gone. Yeah. Well, we're the same.
And I can see all obstacles
in my way.
So that's how
don't you love it that no one came behind you and went, "Oh, Cindy, do you really know what you're doing?" Because I want to get back to the topic of, mothering versus being someone who encourages others.
Exactly. Well, that's what we do at our retreat. It is. You and I are like little mommies running around.
Tough love sometimes.
Right. And it is because we are mothers, and we set boundaries and we set down rules, and we make sure everybody's, fed and warm and sheltered and all that. We do all that. And then, I mean, it's not that you cook all the time or we cook, but we show them where they can get the food, right? And so people felt more independent, but at the same time, we were very mothering. I found myself in many conversations with younger women that were at our retreat, giving them some advice that they asked for.
They asked for.
That they asked for.
You didn't follow them around and go, honey, you're doing it wrong. Right? No. We don't have the time, energy, and who died and made us goddess?
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
And we had so if you think of us as the moms and everybody that was there as our children, we had some rascals there.
We wanted to sit them in a corner, but that's okay. We love them anyway.
No,
we didn't mean anything.
No. We have our one little girl who I adore, I nicknamed her our jalapeno, and you know who I'm talking about. You're our little jalapeno. She loved it.
She's adorable.
Yes, she is so cute. We love everybody that came. I mean, I loved everyone. I could have stayed with everyone another week or
Yeah.
but it was just enough time for us to connect, and these coffee chats, we're spreading the word, and we're inviting people to get-togethers online, and so anyway, so we're the mommies. No, we're the moms, or no, are we the mothers? I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but we're not going to follow people around saying, please do what I say. No. And here's the thing, and you and I, and we can wrap it up with this. Truly, I believe, and I know that this is not my original thought, but I do think it's true, is that our children do not learn what we tell them; they learn what we show them.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Don't do as I do. Do what I say. Doesn't work out.
That doesn't, huh? So, they are going to do as we do.
Exactly.
And so when we have successful children, or when we have successful retreats, or when we have successful work environments, or whatever, there's a reason for that, Cindy, in that we have decided to be the example, the living example, and not try to fix people, because I can tell you, I can barely fix my own self. Seriously. I mean, even if I wanted to lose weight, it's hard. Even if I wanted to learn to be fluent in Spanish.
But we can, right. But we can share our life experiences.
We can, absolutely.
We can do that. So I used to tell my kids all the time, I'd say, you can either go through the pain, or I'll tell you how it's going to turn out. The pain will be a better lesson for you, because you'll want to avoid that anytime next time.
That's true.
And that's when they started asking me things, and it's fun. It's funny.
It's a little pain to do it.
Yeah. So our children are very, very independent, but once in a while I can tell when they need their mommy. And I love that.
Yeah. Well, I love you. Thank you for, please, our audience, please like, subscribe, share, and, give us some feedback. We love hearing from you.
We do.
Really do.
We do.
And we appreciate you. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetie.